Before buying the Stewart Golf Q Follow trolley, looked for lots of online reviews. Everything I could find was by golf sites or pros who'd been given a trolley to review. I personally want to do an independent review, someone who's purchased this with their own money. I'd normally do this in a forum, written in text, but I've decided to do this as a YouTube video. This is the first one I've ever done, so please bear with me. These first impressions are my own personal opinions and observations. So this trolley here cost me £1,749. This is the carbon edition. There's a black edition which is £100 cheaper. From Stewart it's an 8-week delivery time, and this one's arrived a week early. Now I'm a long time Stewart Golf customer, and this is my 4th Stewart Golf trolley in the last 12 years. There's been nothing wrong with any of my previous trolleys other than there's been a newer model out and I've wanted to upgrade. I've always managed to get a very good return for them, selling them privately on eBay. Prior to this one here, I had the X9 Follow, the F1 Lithium and the X3 Remote. The Q Follow is the successor to the X9 Follow, although the X9 series is remaining part of the Stewart lineup. So why am I changing? Well, personally I like gadgets, and the Q Follow looks like it's going to be a much more portable trolley. Smaller footprint, easier to store, easier to fit in the boot of my car, and also easier to carry. It also has some new tech like the better 36-volt battery and an app to check how it's performing. So the Q's got a similar footprint to my old F1 trolley, although it's maybe a little bit taller. The advantage of the Q is that you can use any bag. The F1 had to be used specifically with a Stewart Golf bag. I think there were 3 available, as part of the trolley was built into the bag. The F1 also didn't have the follow function, which is why I changed to the X9 Follow. Hopefully the Q is going to be the bridge between the pair of these. So, out of the box, the trolley comes folded neatly. Comes with the remote handset, which we'll go into a bit more in detail later. Comes with a silicone skin that you put over it, makes it waterproof. A USB charging lead to go into the handset, no plug though. Battery charger for the main battery, and also in the box were these mud guards. And the mud guards simply clip on, 2 screws into each one, and that's them held in place. So let's see how it goes together. So first of all, there's a little button here, press that. Nice satisfying click. Next thing we do is tilt it onto its wheels. Going to lift this bag holder, which is going to undo a little clip in there, so that's now loose. As that comes up a bit, we can press in here, this button. A bit stiff because it's new. And that locks into place there. Tilt that back, and that's it now, fully assembled, locked into place. Obviously put your bag on, silicone strap around there, and silicone strap around the top, holding it in place. Okay, so now it's up and built. What's the initial thoughts on this? Well, it feels sturdy, fairly well built. The folding mechanism seems quite easy to use. A little bit stiff being new. Took a little bit of practice to figure it out, but now I know it's going to be fairly straightforward. Personally, I prefer the look of the X series trolley. It looks more premium to me. The Q seems to resemble a lot more of a generic trolley, like a power caddy or a moto caddy, with this kind of skeletal frame. Doesn't look bad. I just personally prefer the look of the X series. People can spot the sort of spaceship cowl shape of it from miles away and know that it's an X series Stewart trolley. this just isn't nearly going to be as recognisable. Carbon model here comes with the carbon wheel arches, comes with a carbon Q badge, and it's got a carbon strip down the back. This isn't real carbon, this is painted plastic, which is a bit disappointing for a £100 premium. The wheels can be unlocked from the motor by clicking the button here, and you can take them off the axle and you can click them back in, like so, and now they're fully disengaged from the motor. So if you're unlucky enough to be halfway around the golf course and your battery runs out, which shouldn't happen with a 36-hole battery, you can unclip them and get yourself home. Not ideal pushing a trolley probably of this weight about, but at least it'll get you home. We'll now fold it back down, which is as simple as putting it up. Press this button here, that unlocks this. Push this one again. We've now got a fold tilt. Put that out of the way, just stop it getting caught. You hear that satisfying click as well. So this is still loose basically until that locks it in place. Tilt it back up onto its backside. Push the same button that tilted that. Nice click noise again, and that's just done. Now it's folded, you can see that the footprint is significantly smaller than the X series, and the Q has a nice carry handle here. It's pretty heavy, almost 19 kilograms with the battery in, and around 15 kilograms with the battery out. But the smaller footprint makes it much easier to handle than the X series. X series was bulky, you had to take it with two hands, and it was just generally awkward. For me, the main flaw of the X series was its size, and hopefully the Q's resolving that. And I've got a round booked for tomorrow morning, so we'll get out and see how it performs on the course. So what I've realised is, in order to get this trolley in the back of this car, and this is an F-Pace, quite a big boot, is I've had to take the parcel shelf out. It's just that little bit too tall. So get that shoved right at the back. Use the cut out bit for the driver end, get that in. Yeah, it works well. It's just a shame I've got to take the parcel shelf out. Just that little bit too tall. So due to the COVID restrictions, we're limited to where we can travel to. I can't travel to my home golf course. So instead, I've picked a Contour golf course, which is within my boundaries. I haven't played here for about 15 years. It's quite a hilly course. As you can see, it's the second hole. So this should be a real test for the trolley to see how it handles the hills. So here comes the real test. Quite a steep bit of hill. Hopefully you can see the trolley behind me. It's going. So got a nice open fairway here. Got a quick demonstration of the remote. So as you can see, press left. This is in the normal steering mode, which is quite fierce. You can see it locking the wheel and turning the other one. If I press glide stop and then start it again, I'm now in the glide steering mode. Glide steering mode, if I press, much less severe. Much nicer turn for softer grass areas, not tearing it apart. 15 holes in now. Trolley's running really well. It's a bit slower than the X series, I think. There was a time when I had to run across the fairway to get out of somebody's way, and when I sort of sped up, the trolley just stayed behind, obviously out of range. The other thing I've noticed is it sits much further behind me than the X series one did, which is a good thing when stopping. It doesn't seem to have the same sort of elastic band effect either, that's kind of springing back and forth. We've got the 18th in a couple of holes, which is a
a really steep downhill, so we'll be able to see how it handles that. So here's 18, big downhill. We'll see how the trolley brakes. See there at the brow of the hill, this bit's away getting really steep. Let's see how this copes, see if my ankles get bitten. Stopping well so far. And that's way past me, as you can see. Good job it moved. It seems to want to stop. So let's move home now after playing 18 holes with this trolley. It's not my finest 18, but not too bad considering due to COVID, a back injury and the winter conditions that this is my first round out in almost 7 months. You really do appreciate the follow mode on cold days like today, when you can walk around with your hands in your pockets and some nice hand warmers in your pockets too, keep them nice and cosy. So, what's my initial thoughts on this? What did I like and what did I dislike about the trolley? Am I happy with my purchase? So my first observation is that the motor seems to be quieter. There's a less high-pitched noise than the X series. Ran along behind me, sometimes I didn't even know it was there. Definitely seems to run less like it's tethered to me by an elastic band, and seems to keep a better pace and distance when in follow mode. It's also significantly slower than my X series was. If I was to drag race the pair of them, the Q would lose by a country mile. It's not important for most of the time, as it still keeps up with you and can go faster than I can walk. However, sometimes you do need to get a move on in a round of golf, and it'd be nice if it just went that wee bit faster. So the controls for this trolley are exactly the same as my previous one, so for me it's second nature to pick it up and just use it. You might find if you're new to one of these, take a little while to get used to. You'll end up looking at the controller while you're using it. You might end up concentrating too much on that and maybe even losing some shots during your round. After a few rounds, it becomes second nature. Great piece of kit, really easy to use. Something that's new on this, we now have a double handle instead of a single one in the middle, which I found very nice to use in the manual mode. However, I did find clipping the remote onto the handle is quite flimsy. It doesn't feel very ergonomic when using it. It's not really a big issue because the only time you really use that in the car park and maybe crossing bridges or walking along tight paths. Folding and unfolding the unit in the car park worked really well. It was much easier to carry out to the car and set up. Every review I've seen of this unit has used the specific Stewart Golf bag. Now the Stewart Golf bag has a key system on the bottom of it and it locks onto the base of the trolley, prevents it rotating. So I've never seen a review anybody using a normal bag, so I'm using a standard tour bag here, regular bag. It didn't have any issues, it didn't have any twisting at all, it was locked in place perfectly during my round. So check the battery up after my round and I can show you here, hopefully you can see. 69% remaining, which means my round, my very hilly round, has only used 31%. I think that's really impressive. So the Bluetooth on my X9 Follow used to drop out every now and again. This one hasn't, in the one round I've used it so far. What would happen is you would go to press a button, it wouldn't connect. You'd have to turn the remote off, turn it back on. Sometimes that would pair. Sometimes you might have to go over to the trolley and press the on-off button. Doesn't sound like a big inconvenience, but if the trolley's at the other side of the green, it is. The other thing it's inconvenient is the time it takes. If there's a group standing waiting to play a shot and you're standing fiddling about your trolley, it doesn't look very good. Like I say, I've only played one round with it, so we'll need to keep an eye on that. So one of my bugbears with this trolley is the wheels. Now, this is a V3 wheel, and it's on the third colour scheme of it. So the very first ones were a nice silver colour, nice metallic. The second one was a kind of dull grey, and the third one's somewhere in between. Now, in the sun this looks really nice and sparkly because it's got a metallic finish. In the sun this just looks a bit dull. So my personal thing is I'm going to be redoing them in anthracite. So I think that's a really nice metallic, shiny colour, and hopefully it will make the trolley stand out. So watch for them being fitted. Overall, I think I'm really pleased with my purchase, and I'm really looking forward to getting it back out in the course again. I've ordered a little ball holder that goes on here that I think holds 2 balls, and I've also ordered the carry case for the trolley itself. Apparently you pop it in and it zips up with 4 zips like a banana around it, and hopefully that's going to keep the boot of the car clean when the trolley is a bit dirty. So I'm looking forward to getting them, and again I'll put some updates on that. I think that's me done in summary. So thanks for watching and thanks for listening to my initial thoughts. Once I've had a bit more time out in the course with it, once I've got my accessories fitted, etc., I'll put out another video detailing any new thoughts or potential issues I've been having. If you've got any questions or there's anything you would like me to try, then please let me know in the comments. Other than that, all I can say is thanks for watching.